We're good.
All right. It was another exciting week in League One action, and we are here to break it all down for you, as well as preview the upcoming matches this weekend and the Open Cup matches next week. Welcome to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me both on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich, but I'm not. And that is a man we all know and love, Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. How you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad. I don't really know about everybody loves me, but if they're listening, they at least tolerate me, which is just fine as well.
That's just fine. Yeah. But you are receptive to hugs at every single match day too.
Um, I don't think I've ever been approached to like be hugged by somebody. Um, that I can remember anyway. But then again, at the same time, like if people see me at matches, they know probably why most of the time I don't remember it, but it is what it is.
Yep. Well, look, we have a great episode tonight. Um, we have full breakdowns on week 3 matches. We have week 4 previews. We have Open Cup discussions. We have plenty of questions that we're going to be answering too. Um, but man, before we get started, Brian, what are you drinking?
I just have water. That heat wave, I guess you could call it today, kind of took me a little bit by surprise. So didn't get quite as much water in today, and with another warm day tomorrow, I got to get that water intake back up. So that's all I got tonight.
That's all right. I'll do the heavy lifting tonight. I'm going to continue with the Jameson. I'm almost done with this bottle, by the way.
Getting there.
Yeah, I have a list of whiskey bottles that I want to get though. So as soon as I kick this one, I'll get the next ones going, and I'm excited to show them off because I started like following a bunch of accounts on social media, like whiskey connoisseurs and all that kind of stuff. So
Nice.
kind of give me a little bit more um, suggestions and all that kind of stuff of different flavors to try and different distilleries to look at too.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. So you're okay. I'm before we get into all the League One stuff, I got to ask you because you're a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you. So you do mostly PC stuff.
All pretty much exclusively, honestly.
Okay.
So, I mean, I do have a PlayStation, but that's actually my son's PlayStation. So the only thing I play on that is like NCAA football, and then with any luck here soon, I'll be doing the MLB, which is one that I really wanted to get. So,
Gotcha. Okay. So that answers my question because I was going to ask you next if you had ever done any emulators.
on the PC, I haven't done any emulators. I don't know, I have one around here somewhere, but it's one of the little like Anorak handhelds that has like all the Game Boy Advance games and stuff like that. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. So I've been getting this like advertisement on Instagram for like retro games and stuff like that. So you can play thousands of games on this one handheld console.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking into other handheld consoles that you can play. And I finally, after doing weeks of research, literally weeks of research, decided to pull the trigger and I bought one today. So it's going to be shipping here pretty soon. It's going to have over 4,000 games on it, ranging from the 18 and 16 bit all the way up to N64, Dreamcast, PS1.
Ooh,
Um,
those are
so
good
I'm looking
ones.
forward to that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
solid. I completely support that decision. It is a ton of fun.
All right. So let's get into some of the league news.
Uh,
Let me
no, I've got it back up now.
let me pull this one over here. All right. So big news, actually. I think this was just announced today, even um, that Boise is going to be having a pro soccer team, not only on the men's side, but also on the women's side. So Boise Pro Soccer broke ground on their new stadium at Expo, Idaho. Initially, the stadium is going to have 6,225 fans with plans to expand with seating going over 11,000. The area is also going to have training grounds as well as community focused spaces, which will be developed over the next decade. Now, when it comes to the women's side, okay, so let me back up. The men will begin playing in March of 26. Um, and then the women are going to start playing in the fall of 27, and they are going straight to Super League.
Solid.
So this is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's good to see another team coming into another couple of teams coming into the fold. I think Boise's been on the list for potential places the USL could land. I think it's going to be great. I mean, the fact that they have a stadium with 6,000, that's an oddly specific number, 6,225
Yeah.
fans. But increasing the seating to over 11,000 seats, that's really got to make you wonder what their end game is, where they want to end up. Are they going to start off low and then try to work their way up with the implementation of promotion relegation, or is this, they want to make it a community event? So I don't know. It's definitely something to look out for. But I'm more teams in the league, more teams in the Super League. It's a win-win all the way around.
Hit the nail on the head. I was gonna start referencing the promotion relegation stuff too. Even so, not only is the 6,225 fans not the specific number, but then when you consider the 11,000, because with the rumors that are happening, or I don't know if it's rumors, but the speculation surrounding promotion relegation and the discussions happening between USL and US Soccer about how USL is going to be eligible for the Division One status if US Soccer is going to be changing some of the regulations or the minimum standards to meet as a Division One organization. You have to think 11,000 is going to be pretty much like the bare minimum for
Mm-hmm.
Division One status, because even I think Premier League 11,000 is the bare minimum for their stadium standards.
Yeah, I would have to double check and look. Maybe Tim. I know Tim's in the chat. I see that in there. Um, maybe Tim knows the actual number, but yeah, you have to think that it's set up for at least a. All right, if we're gonna do this and promotion and relegation is a thing, why not aim for the top league? And if you don't fill it, I mean, you don't fill it. Maybe you throw some banners over it or something. But in any case, I mean, the fact that they're willing to do all of this um, to be in the USL, I think, kind of shows more and more that teams are buying into the USL, especially with implementation of promotion relegation and with everything that the league is doing to kind of make themselves stand out a little bit more than probably MLS would have thought that they were going to. The fact that now we have the Jägermeister Cup involving championship teams and stuff like that. You have to think if it goes well this year with that, with it in its form this season, you got to think as soon as Division One becomes a thing, if and when it becomes a thing, that they would look to move it forward, uh, and bring in Division One into the Jägermeister Cup as well. So I'm excited for it. And I think anybody that's watched college football over the past decade or two now knows that Boise comes out and supports their sports teams very, very well. So I don't think they're going to have any trouble filling that stadium up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've actually been to Boise, um, and I've actually been on the blue turf too. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the Smurf turf is something else, man.
I wonder if FIFA has any regulations on colored turf or even colored pitches to begin with, because
It's a solid
Boise can
question.
make that a thing across the board.
Yeah, as long as you don't wear blue, the same color blue on that, I think that field
Yeah.
is going to be insane.
Sorry, Westchester, no camouflage. You got to wear white.
Have to.
Good to see everybody in the chat. Zach coming in. Hey, Zach coming in with the hi guys. Tim following up with the "You Never Walk Alone." Yeah, we don't have the Fire and Ice Derby anymore. Man,
Yeah,
missed the
it's
classic
upsetting,
there.
man.
Yep.
The good old
Soup Luke's good to
KY
see you,
Cup.
man. Finally had to switch over to Blue Sky to follow us. Yeah. I mean, if you're not on X anymore, we are on Blue Sky.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim, as I recall, the handheld device does have GoldenEye, but from the reviews that I read, that's one of the ones that lags a little bit just because of the processing. Um, so I'll test it out when I get it. But I've read other reviews that had like Donkey Kong and Mario Kart and Mario 64, like those all went just fine without any lagging. So maybe GoldenEye will work. I don't know. We will see. And Zach, yes, phones do work as emulators. I actually do have an emulator on my phone, so I can play some of the old like Game Boy games on there. So I have a lot of fun. I have definitely used that on plane rides.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I basically switch from the emulator to Kindle back to emulator. Yeah, that's what I do. Zach also saying, also realistically, if this happens, how many successful years within USL before MLS gets on the pyramid?
Oh, whoa. In my opinion, I don't think MLS does. I think MLS, and I think there's been some stuff going around where they pulled the owners or pulled managers of MLS squads about it, and I've seen nothing but kind of just shoving it off as if it's nothing. Kind of almost telling the USL to stay in its lane almost without using those words. But um, I think in the end they're just afraid of innovation and afraid of losing their franchise money. Because teams, I mean, you're gonna get sick of seeing the same 3 or 4 teams win the MLS Cup every single year, and the same 3 or 4 teams winning, excuse me, the Open Cup every single year. It's not fun to watch when the same team wins over and over. So, um, and promotion and relegation, even if the same team wins over and over, you have those promotion and relegation battles that happen, and those are generally not the same team over and over. You might see them every couple of years, but I think MLS is going to be super slow to it. I would be really surprised if MLS caves in and decides that they want to go in with the USL and partner with them to do anything.
Yeah, yeah. And what also, if you really want to be petty, I don't, in my view, my eyes, I don't see how MLS clubs can really call themselves clubs because even when they're talking from a business perspective, they call each of these clubs franchises. They even look at them as a business entity.
Mm-hmm.
If you are truly trying to grow the game and you are truly trying to raise the competitive level of soccer in America, not just from a business perspective, but also competitively on the global stage, you're not doing so in a closed system.
No.
So I would hesitate to call those clubs like football club and soccer club and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
franchises.
yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is, and until it is an open system all the way around, it's going to continue to be that, and you'll have the grassroots movement of the USL and the bringing people up from, even as we see uh, in Boise, community focused spaces and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean that these lower division teams make communities, and that's what is so nice about watching the USL as opposed to watching MLS is you get to know the people. You get to know the people around you a lot better. You get to know people in other cities. I mean, look at even just our show, how many people from different cities and states that we've talked to, just because we all share the common interest of being fans of USL League One. So,
Yep.
and you don't really get that
And
in MLS. You get the big giant content creators that have, 500,000 followers and stuff like that, and you'll get points of view from them, but you won't get stuff like our show or any of the other shows that are out here covering the lower divisions.
yep, totally agree. Tim also coming in here saying no official capacity minimum listed for the Premier League, but the smallest EPL stadium is AFC Bournemouth with 11,300. Thank you, Tim.
It's right there.
Follows it up with a quote saying that US Soccer quotes Law 1. He's coming at us with the law book, saying Law 1 says the pitch must be green, whether natural or artificial. Waivers are obviously given for lower league, Greenville's in zones. Yeah. But officially has to be green with white lines. There it is.
So there we go. No blue turf in Boise.
Yep. Gotta love when Tim comes in here citing sources and fact checking us. We love it. Well, look, we had an exciting week 3 of USL League One action. Man, we really did. I'm telling you, like this first match that we're about to discuss had all kinds of stuff that we're going to be talking about here. So let's dive right into it. Saturday night, first kickoff, 6 p.m. Eastern Time in City Stadium, the home opener for Richmond Kickers hosting AV Alta FC. Good attendance there, too, for home opener.
I mean, Richmond Kickers. What else can you really say? I think there's a couple teams in the league you say they played at home and they're getting huge crowds. So Richmond being one of them, obviously 5,500 people. That's a home opener. That's pretty good, especially against a team that is new into the league this season. So, and I would say, excuse me, partially it's because of them being new, but Richmond shows out no matter what. So it's not necessarily just because of who they were playing.
What I love so much about City Stadium is not only do the fans show up, but man, they make their presence known.
Yep.
And it is so much fun. Even if you're on the visiting bus, like trying to get to your locker room, whether you're like in the stands watching the match, like the banter is just so good. The fans truly love the Kickers, and man, if there's a stadium, I mean, you could say this for Bree Stevens too, but if there's a stadium in League One where the fans can truly have an effect on the outcome of the match, City Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah. So started off with AV hitting the scoreboard first. 8th minute, Alexis Cerritos unassisted goal. Just right away too. Didn't get a whole lot of action leading up to that point, but man, that goal just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, you have the keeper for the Richmond Kickers try to play a ball out and mishandle it. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. Try to play it out, mishandles it, and just gets pounced on by Cerritos and just easily passes it into the back of the net. And I honestly, watching this match, thought that this was going to be the momentum shift because Richmond at the beginning of this match looked like the better team, looked like the team that was a little bit more focused, ready to play until that moment. And that's a wild, wild swing. Can't have your keeper playing out of the back and messing it up like that. I think that probably goes on. That probably goes on the. I don't know if that Twitter page is still around or not, but when playing out the back goes wrong, that would definitely be featured on it for sure.
Yep, definitely. And then moments later, in the 15th minute, Richmond gets a PK, but Terzagi's PK is saved. Carlos Aviles coming in for the save there against the PK there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely not not on my list of things that I thought was going to happen. I mean, he's already missed one this season, but having one saved as well, that is tough, especially from a guy who's kind of been the banner carrier for not only the Richmond Kickers but League One in general. Um, yeah, that's I was convinced at this point that you know the soccer gods were against Richmond in this match. It just did not look like anything was going to happen with them, even though they had looked like the better team up until that point.
I love how you mentioned Emiliano Terzaghi carrying the banner because that's a little bit of foreshadowing there. But just when you thought that the soccer gods were against Richmond on this evening, Richmond is able to pull one back just before halftime with Chandler O'Dwyer getting a goal with an assist from Maxi Shenfield. That was after the corner kick, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then it started. In the 51st minute, Richmond takes the lead and they would not look back. Emiliano Terzaghi, unassisted from the midline.
Yeah. See, just when you think maybe it's the end, maybe it's the end of the poster boy, he does something like this, and you just realize he's gonna play until he's 60 years old. He just is.
Yes.
Something like that. I mean, you score from the midline, you tip your hat because what do you really do? Um, and it's not like the keeper was in a bad position either. He was in a position any other keeper would have been in, maybe a little bit further than he probably should have been. But I mean, you can't give Emmy that kind of space and time to think about that one to send it in. But beautiful goal.
Yep. And Emmy was not pleased with settling for one goal, so he decided to double up his goal tally on the night with a 73rd minute goal, another unassisted goal, but this one was from a lot closer.
Yeah. Just getting back to getting back to what he's known for, poaching those goals in front. Um,
Exactly.
hey man,
And
it's a way to make a living, you know.
yep. And just as Richmond's play is heating up, AV Alta's tempers were heating up because in the 74th and 75th minute, they received a red card. Central midfielder, oh gosh, Mabumu Alasane? I don't know.
Sounds
Whatever.
right.
He got a red card. He played central midfielder. And then their manager, Brian Kleben, also got a red card. Both cases for not exactly having the cleanest of language. We'll say that.
Yeah. I mean they said at the beginning of the season they're going to start cracking down on it, and I know I poked fun at it at the beginning of the season, but it seems like they're actually sticking to their word this time. So that's good to
Yeah.
see, I guess. We'll kind of see how it goes as we move forward with that one.
We should have done predictions to see how many red cards there would be at the end of the season and for each club or something like that to see who would have the most.
Yeah, that would. I mean, we could still do that.
Yeah. Chattanooga's got a head start too.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. Like I think we would have to just look at how many there were last year and possibly double it for this season.
Yeah.
I
Tim
mean,
coming in here saying Richmond home opener last year, March 23rd versus Tormenta, was a 1-3 loss. Attendance was 4,523, so a good 1,000 more this year.
yeah, yeah. I think they were probably itching to see their team get a victory inside of City Stadium, especially coming off of the loss in the U.S. Open Cup.
Yep. All right. So with Emiliano Terzaghi's brace in this match, he extended his league record, all-time league record, earning his 11th brace in league history. Now, we did a little bit of breakdown here to give you some context about how significant of an achievement this is. No other player in League One history has double digit braces. The closest players in league history are Keziah Sterling and Trevor Amon. with 7. Now, if you look at the closest active League One players, they are Nil Vinyals and Christian Cheney, who both sit at 4. Now let's go even deeper here. If you look by season, the amount of braces that Emiliano Terzaghi has earned, um, in 2020 he had 1, but then he took off in 2021, had 4 braces. So in a single season, he has as many as the closest active League One player has in braces. Now, the next 2 seasons, 2022, 2023, he had 3 braces. Now, he didn't have any last year, so this was his first brace since the 2023 season.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
To be fair,
starting
he
strong.
was injured for the vast majority of last season as well. So,
He was.
um,
Yeah.
I mean that obviously doesn't do him help him at all. Um, but yeah, just crazy to think. Uh, just crazy that in 2021 he had as many braces as the 2 players behind him who have played multiple years in this league. And on a
Yep.
very, very good Richmond team. That 2021 Kickers team was a good team.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy. So next up for Richmond, they have the Henny Derby they host Madison in the Henny Derby this Saturday. AV Alta has the bye week this week. Next week in the Open Cup, they host LAFC 2. And then scoreboard, we all got this one right. None of us got the exacto, but we all get this one right.
Yeah, you just got to take the wins when they come, you know?
Yeah. 67% of the fans who voted said that Richmond was going to win. So good job, everybody.
Very good call.
Yeah. No exactos, but the closest I would say would be Tim, Ranting Blue Penguin. He had a 2-1 score line. So he was super close.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one to call. And I mean just kind of going back a little bit to the match. I mean there was not really a point in this match except for I would say the first 15 minutes or so that I really thought AV Alta had too much of a shot in this one. It seemed like Richmond was on them early and often. It just seemed like I said earlier, the backbreaker and having an unfortunate score against you and then your star player missing a penalty. It did not seem like they were going to be able to come out of it. But from then on, it really was a whole lot of the Richmond show.
Yeah, it really was. Um, I mean, shots on goal, inside the box. I mean, it was all favoring Richmond. I mean, this was all Richmond.
Yeah, just the flow of the match just seemed like it big swings Richmond's way in momentum the entire time through. Really, a couple spots here and there for AV Alta, but just not a super strong showing from them on this one. And I wonder if it just has more to do with Richmond kind of understanding that with especially with these expansion sides coming in, I think you can bully them a little bit more than you can some of the more established clubs in this league. I think coming in, you try that against like say a Greenville, a team that's been here since the beginning as well. I don't think that style of play goes as it did in this one against a team that's already been established. I think this really only works for these expansion sides early in this season.
Yeah. These were 2 teams that came out in a 4-1-4-1 formation, but the focus was vastly different. AV Alta, as they're starting to, as we are all, becoming more familiar with them and their style of play, dominated possession, just as they've done in their other matches. I would like to see more offensive production, offensive opportunities from AV Alta. You can have the ball all day, but you got to do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, having a draw every single match of the season, one, is not going to happen. And two, I mean, it's not going to be successful for your club, both from a business perspective, like drawing fans, because if you're drawing every match, it's not exciting.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you got to start putting stuff on frame. You got to start developing chances. Yeah,
I think they will. As soon as the season starts moving a little bit forward and everybody starts to get a little more comfortable, I think you'll see them open up a little bit better. Um, it's just kind of tough going, especially at the beginning and going into playing, in City Stadium against a well-established Richmond Kickers team. Um, that's just tough. That's tough for any team, let alone a brand new expansion side.
yeah. Richmond was pretty balanced in their flank play as well as their play through the middle. Um, AV Alta had to rely more on their flank play. I think they were just getting outplayed in the middle. And so Richmond was just able to shepherd them to one side of the pitch and just suffocate them. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's pretty much what led to Richmond's success.
Yep. Yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah, with the second match of Saturday, 7 p.m. kickoff, we had this was a surprising one. Okay, not for you because you got this one right,
I mean, I
but
thought there was going to be
Spokane.
more goals than this, but yes.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Spokane Velocity hosting FC Naples. FC Naples picks up the 1-0 victory.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so what are you more surprised by? FC Naples getting the narrow victory or their attendance inside of One Spokane Stadium?
I would say the attendance inside of One Spokane Stadium. I
I
mean,
agree.
I called Naples to win the game. So I can't be surprised that they won when I picked them to win. But yeah, I mean, 1,900 people there. It's not a great turnout, which is weird because last season they were consistent with their turnouts, and it always looked really good on camera. So a little bit surprised to see this one. Yeah, I that surprises me more than anything. But I think we're starting to kind of see it's that time of the year where things get kind of weird, especially weather-wise in every part of the country right now. It's super weird. So a lot of times you're going to see people being either unsure or weather just being crappy. I think that may have had something to do with it. Also, it's the thing of it's not an established team. You don't nobody in Spokane unless they follow the league really closely. A casual fan's not gonna to know FC Naples at all. And they're not like a big, super big name team because they're brand new. So I'm sure that had a little bit of something to go into it as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Um, the thing I love about having watched Naples play is, um, when you play like what was that game that you would play as a kid, like 500 or something like that,
Oh yeah.
and you're just sitting back and you throw out, you see like jackpot, and everybody just starts running straight down the field or something like that. That was FC Naples. I
Mm.
mean, they sat three back in a staggered three, and they were just like, you know what, everybody else, jackpot, go, just run.
Yeah, they definitely placed a lot of emphasis on those back guys, which worked out. I mean, that's something we kind of speak about when we're talking about Spokane, how they want to be able to build up and build out of the middle, and it's hard to do that when you're letting you know the rest of the team forward except for your back three being able to press and be able to frustrate teams and stuff like that. And I think it was just a beautifully coached match against a team like Spokane, especially with the firepower that they have. I think FC Naples may have kind of just shown the league this is how you beat a team with an offense of this caliber.
Yeah, I agree. I the more I watch Naples play, I mean, first off, that whole meme, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game or whatever."
Yeah.
That's definitely me right now. Since I've predicted them to lose twice now, I think so. I got to turn that around. Um, but yeah, definitely looking a lot closer at FC Naples, not only in the way that they move their personnel, um, but how they adjust to various pressures. Because FC Naples was using the left side of the pitch a lot,
Mhm.
and so was Spokane. They were using the right side of their pitch, so that um, the fans that were right along that sideline were getting a real nice show the entire night.
Mhm.
But yeah, the way that FC Naples adjusts their offense when they switch from defense to offense, yeah, that's fun to watch.
Yeah, you can tell that their coach places a whole lot of trust in his guys to be able to do that. I mean, it's something that we when we talked to Matt Glazer last year too. It's kind of the same idea. Um, you come in with a general game plan, but you let your guys do what they're paid to do and play the sport that they know and have played for since they were kids. So, I mean, it is kind of what it is. I mean, this is kind of it seems how the league is kind of going. You're letting these players do what they're paid to do, and it worked out in this one for sure.
Yeah. Spokane is still, coming out with that 4-2-3-1, really stacking the midfield,
Mm-hmm.
but FC Naples just able to find a way to advance to that next level. I want to do a much deeper breakdown, but we have so much to talk about tonight, so I can't really like sit here and talk about the minutia as much as I want to. I do love diving into tactics and stats and all that stuff, but yeah,
Very true. Um, and just kind of going to the live chat, we've got quite a few. Lil Kuzi coming in saying, speaking of attendance, the Oakland Roots is having 25,000 plus last week was super impressive, really impressive.
yeah,
Beat the majority of MLS teams' record attendance last year. Yeah, Oakland showing out.
hell yeah,
Championship brethren coming in. And Alex saying Oakland would have been third in MLS this past weekend in attendance. Gives Little Kuzi high hopes that Division One USL can have large attendance in the right spots. I completely agree.
yeah.
And then Tim coming in with your kind of answering your question a little bit here, saying the first two Spokane matches last year got 5,086 and 3,376. This year it's 2,444 and 1,903, and it's a huge drop off after a finals run.
No kidding. That's the stat right there.
Yeah.
That's the storyline. What's going on? I mean, they were runner up, like playoff runner up last season.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the upsets they had in the playoffs to get to the final. Just yeah.
I mean, it wasn't surprising to some people around here, but it was something. Um, Speaking of something that is also surprising too, Alex coming in saying that FC Naples having a surprising amount of depth, and he did not expect that.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think a whole
if
lot of us did.
yeah, yeah, I'll wholeheartedly agree with that. But Naples, yes, definitely. If you're doing any sort of like a fantasy league or something like that with USL, why don't we have a fantasy league? Why is my brain just like we should have a fantasy league?
That'd be good. Although you know what, I think there's definitely a lot more people that are smarter than me, and I think a lot of them are either in the podcast with me right now or in our chat right now that I think would just completely wipe the floor with me in in fantasy. But I mean, if somebody does it, I'd be down to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If you had Miliano Terzaghi and Carson Hinderlong, your fantasy team was awesome this week.
Yeah.
Is that coming in saying, we got a comment from Luke first. Mr. Tormenta saying, do you think that the fact all Spokane's playoff games were on the road affected the potential excitement for more casual fans coming into this year? True.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Luke coming in with the good talking point there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I think it definitely had something to do with it. Um, I think it's going to make me sound like a super homer right now, but I think losing in the finals 3-0 also does not help. That's a super heartbreaking way to lose that.
Yeah.
But then again, from where they're at, I think they'll be just fine. I think this is just kind of maybe the start of another season. You know, you got to make sure that you get out there, you promote, you do everything like that, and it's easy when it's your first season. I mean, it right it writes itself. You really don't have to market your first season. You just put your name out there saying, "Hey, this is our first season. This is what we're doing," and people come because it's new. Um, I think it's a lot harder to sustain that kind of success over the seasons. Um, which makes some of the teams in this league like it makes it even more impressive that they're still getting the numbers that they're getting. Um, but I think the one thing that Spokane has going for it is just that area is just so rich with the soccer DNA kind of ingrained into it. I think end up being just fine. This is probably just a drop in the bucket at the beginning of a new season, and I completely expect them to turn it back around too.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally expect them not only to be a playoff team this year, but also a deep playoff team this year. And then Zach coming in saying, yeah, look at Naples. You could see them taking the league within the next 2 years. Yes.
Yeah.
If you look at corporate sponsorship, I know I keep saying this about FC Naples, but if you look at the corporate sponsorships and the amount of partnerships they're making with the community, that's not only them reaching out to the community and building those bridges and getting those connections, that's money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And what allows you to bring players in to do extra advertising that other teams can't do. I mean, it's at the end of the yes, it is about the money. And FC Naples, not only from the ownership, that ownership group has plenty of money, but the way that they are running the club and right out the gates here of the 25 USL League One season, they are killing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just definitely look up the owners because I knew of two of them, and now that I see the other names on this list as well, yeah, I can completely agree with Zach on this one.
Alex coming in saying yes, but who picked Carson Hinderlong coming into the season? Yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
No, I did not. No.
I think he's scored in every match for them so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Do
including
believe
Open
so.
Cup.
Yeah, I believe he was the one. Yeah.
Man, crazy.
And then
And
Tim
then
saying fantasy league requires some teams to give you solid team news on injuries and such. Um, yeah, I don't know what.
yeah,
I mean, I'd honestly throw a dartboard at all the teams in this league, and chances are they probably don't release their injury information. So,
yeah.
it is what it is.
If it's not league protocol,
Yeah, why would
once it
you?
becomes league protocol. But then at that point, once it becomes league protocol, then the information needs to get disseminated to the general public.
Yeah, also not great.
Yeah.
Also not great.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to reach out to us and let us know some of this information,
Yeah,
we'd be happy to report it.
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a track record of not leaking things that I know. So, if people want to tell me stuff, feel free. Stone Vault up here. Nobody's getting nothing. I just like to know things. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Next up for Spokane, they go to Greenville this Saturday. Naples once again hosts Portland Hearts of Pine this Saturday. I was the only one who was wrong on this one. Man. You had a 2-1 Naples victory. I had a 2-1 Spokane victory.
Yep.
And this is where stuff starts getting interesting because not only did 50% of the fans say that Naples was going to win, with 40% saying Spokane was going to win, by the way. We had our first exacto from a fan,
Yes.
and this one came on Blue Sky from Shadow Wolf.
Congrats.
Yeah. We're going to be saying that name again. So, Shadow Wolf. Get ready. All right. So, the last match of week 3 was Texoma FC hosting One Knox. I mean, we all saw the writing on the wall with this one.
Yeah. Solid attendance figures, though.
Yeah.
3,200 people. I'm always a little skeptical when it's rounded like that, to be honest. It was probably closer to like 3,180 something, but yeah, I think you round up to 3,200. But yeah, I think we both we both kind of talked about this, and we it was hard to come up with things that Texoma had done well in the one match that they had leading up to this one to really talk about, and we know what we're gonna get with One Knox, and I think it kind of showed. The 24th minute, Knoxville gets the first goal. Mark Doyle from Kempis Tequila, and then in the 57th minute, the Mark Doyle just sends it right back and gives Kempis Tequila the goal. So trading out to get goals and assists on that one for those two. Not a big surprise. This was One Knox completely dominating this match, and I mean we all saw it coming. The fans, both Rich and I, but there was somebody who knew exactly how this match was going to go, getting the exacto. Is that his first of the season? That is Rich with the exacto 2-0 victory. I mean,
Yep.
congratulations.
77% of the fans had One Knox win in this one too. So it was not just us who was let in on this not surprising result.
Yeah, we'll say Blue Sky. Everybody who voted on Blue Sky, 100% of the votes on Blue Sky went for a Knoxville victory.
Yeah. Tim Ranting Blue Penguin, exacto. Congratulations to you, sir. Shadow Wolf, if you are also in the live chat or listening, had the exacto as well. Yeah, that was his second of the week.
Man.
Yeah.
2 exactos 1 week, one person.
Yeah.
Coming for our jobs, man.
And I think, yeah, so Alex in the live chat saying Terzaghi got robbed on goal of the week, though, because the goal of the week came from One Knox in this match.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with Alex. I think he did get robbed. I think that was the better goal, but
yeah,
neither here nor there.
I agree. Yeah.
Tim also saying Texoma's Open Cup attendance was 350. I think they'll take a rounded off 3,200.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That 350 is not great.
Not great at all. And isn't Lamar Hunt, like, he's associated with FC Dallas, so you would think that Open Cup would like have some sway in Texas,
some presence. Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of week 3. So if you look at the scoreboard heading into week 3, Brian was wearing the crown with 3 points. I had 1. Fans had 0. Fans didn't have a single point coming into this week. But at the end of this week, if you just count week 3, fans won in week 3 with 5 points. Brian had 3, and I had 3 as well. But Brian, I don't know what the tiebreaker is going to be because you had every match correct, but I had the exacto.
Yeah.
I feel like you should get it because you got all of the matches correct.
Um, I mean, I'll take it, I guess. It, I mean, yeah, I would. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say it's a lot easier when there's only 3 matches to try to predict as opposed to what
Yeah,
our full slate is this weekend.
true.
But yeah,
So the overall standings, Brian still wearing the crown with 6 points, fans exploding onto the scene with 5 points, and then me with lowly 4 points.
I mean it's close though.
It is.
Top and bottom
It's getting
separated by two
interesting.
points. With how many matches we got coming this week, this could shift, monumental shift. I don't think it's going to, personally, but it could have a monumental shift. Although I think if we look back at my track record of predicting matches, it's not usually this great. So
I don't know about that.
I'm due for a come down week.
Lil Kuzi coming in saying Open Cup games in the middle of the week kills attendance. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. It's really hard to argue. And I don't think you can argue it because it doesn't matter what level you're at. MLS all the way down to amateur sides, it does kill attendance being in the middle of the week, and you will never ever hear me argue for putting games during the week because I've made that opinion known on this show multiple times that I hate midweek slash Thursday slash Friday matches.
Yeah. You're going to experience a lot of that this season, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that was a little backhanded way of saying that I really don't dislike the schedule for Union Omaha this season.
Yeah. Um, didn't wasn't there news that broke today about the Open Cup? Like they have a partnership with CBS Sports or something like that?
Yes, that is what it is. It's going to be they're partnering with CBS Sports. They're going to air some of the big matches on Galazzo, and then um, is it Peacock that's owned by them? Whichever one is owned by the Galazzo network um,
Yeah,
is gonna
CBS.
is gonna take over the Open Cup matches. So I mean, I have all the streaming services anyway, so but I can understand people not wanting to get streaming services to watch the Open Cup when we have Paramount. Thank you, Tim. Um, when we have YouTube, which is free, and you can watch all of these matches free on YouTube. And
Yeah.
I completely agree. Like, I would love to see all of these matches be on YouTube so I can just sit and watch them like I have been, one right after another. And I have 3 monitors in front of me. I think after the show last week, me and Rich were both stayed on a little bit to watch some of the rest of the Open Cup matches and had them split screened up. So
Yep.
that's nice. But I mean, like I said, I already have Paramount Plus, but I can completely understand not wanting to add another streaming service to somebody's already growing list of streaming services. Um, and unfortunately, it's not like you can just go buy cable right now, even though, like, between streaming services and cable, you're paying the same amount. It doesn't have the things that I want to watch on cable. So, um, but Tim also making a good point that production value is going to go up immensely. It can be hard to keep up with who's doing what on YouTube. Very true. And I think me and Rich talked about that as well last week after the show because we had the Burrito Boys were playing in, where was that? Real Salt Lake, I think
Yeah.
their team,
Yeah.
and you could tell the difference between that one and then the other match. The other match was definitely lower quality than the already set up cameras for Real Salt Lake. So there's pros and cons for
Yeah,
sure.
the other one we watched was Spokane and Ballard, right?
Yes, that's right. Because when we both signed off, we both said we were going to bed, and I did not. I stayed up to watch the whole thing.
Funny you mentioned that because I had it on my phone when I was in bed.
I did. I went and laid down in my bed and watched it on my phone too. It's like it's too good. I have to watch it, and I wasn't like tired yet, so I had to do it.
That's so funny. Um, yes. So production value will definitely go up immensely. So when a player is getting subbed in, you're telling me they're not going to be listed as first last name?
I mean, there's no guarantees, but I'd say your chances are a lot lower, at least.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So let's look ahead to week 4. We have what, 5 matches, 6 matches? Uh,
6 matches.
we have 6. Okay. So we have 1 Friday and then we have 5 Saturday.
Yeah.
And to kick off the week, we have Charlotte hosting Chattanooga, 7 p.m. Eastern time kickoff, ESPN Plus. This one will be in Charlotte. Um, 9th meeting all time. Charlotte owning uh, this matchup so far with 4 wins, Chattanooga having 2 wins and then 2 draws. And when they have played in Charlotte, Charlotte has won 3 of the 4 meetings, with the other being a draw. So Chattanooga has never won in Charlotte. To go even one step further, Charlotte has outscored Chattanooga 12-4 at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And Charlotte being undefeated in their last 5 home and away meetings. The last Chattanooga win was week 27, which was August 1st of the 2022 regular season.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Um, Yikes. I mean,
Yeah.
we're still early in the season. Both of them are still undefeated. But opposite ends of the spectrum here because Charlotte's looking to continue winning, and Chattanooga's just looking for their first win in the regular season. So,
Yeah.
um, it's gonna be tough though, man. I mean, Charlotte, it's one of those. But again, I talked about it all the time last season. I think I'm going to continue to do it this year. What Charlotte team are you going to get? Who knows?
True. But I think in consecutive weeks now, we've had an exciting signing coming out of Charlotte because recently we had the Christian Cheney signing.
Yep.
I think that was just before they had their season opener.
Mm-hmm.
But then this week, they announced the signing of Alfredo Medense, who was the 2024 Young Player of the Year, who played for Fuego last year.
Yep. Yeah. Um, it's a good question to know if he's going to be available. I don't know how when you need to be in, when you're going to be ready to go. I think the ready to go goes team by team. Sneaking suspicion that in this matchup, I don't know that Charlotte's really going to need him too much, um, especially when you have a player on a red card. So we're just going to say Toby because there's no way I'm getting his last name, even though I think I know what it is, but I'm not going to attempt it. Um, the right back is out for a red card against FC Naples in the 8th minute of stoppage time. So
Yeah, and then so not only after that match, but then in their Open Cup match, they had another red card.
yeah, tough, especially against a team that you would say that they should probably be beating. Um, New Jersey Alliance, but took them to all the way to penalties as well. So I don't think you can say that they're going to be overly tired for this one. But I think that can rattle confidence of a team. So definitely also something to look at. There's a few things in this one. And Alex coming in saying that Chattanooga appears to only be traveling with 14 players. They did release an injury report. So 14 players, yikes.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
No, no, not good at all. That being said, and also Tim coming in saying Medense coming off 3 assists and a goal in Lexington U.S. Open Cup's win. Lexington's U.S. Open Cup win. So, uh, kid's ready to ball. We'll see if he gets in for the Independence. I personally don't think it makes too much of a difference in this one. I think, Charlotte, you know what you're gonna get. They look decent again this season. Chattanooga, the Cardiac Red Wolves, maybe coming in late for this one. This is a tough one to try to predict, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. This one could be a sneaky good match.
I mean, it's going to be the only game in town for the USL on this one. So,
Yep.
or at least as far as League One, I don't know about Championship on Friday night, but um, oh, it's a tough one. But I really do feel like it's hard to go against Charlotte in this one. I I really think Charlotte gets the win in this one, and I don't think it's particularly close. I think uh, I think Charlotte takes care of business 2-0.
2-0. Okay. Um, I'm gonna keep it with a Charlotte win as well. I'm gonna say 1-0. I do like that 2-0 scoreline though. I'm gonna say 1-0.
I generally go
Oh, they're
first, so I
only
could
taking
steal yours.
14 though.
Yeah, 14
Okay,
players is
so
a bad one.
14 players, 11 on the pitch. One of the subs is going to be a goalkeeper. So you're only using 2 field players.
Big field at Charlotte, that's definitely going to play a factor. Look for Charlotte to be extra passy down the outside lanes, more so than they usually are.
Dang it. Yeah, your 2-0 prediction is looking really good.
Yeah, I think they probably think they get 2 out early, and then I think they just kind of sit on that. I don't think they really need to go for the throat in this one. I mean, Chattanooga's already at a severe disadvantage, only bringing 14 guys with them.
Yeah, that's true. Like now I'm at the point where I'm deciding between 1-0 and 3-0. I'll stick.
Oh, that's
Come
that's right. Alex and Tim also saying that Jason Smith can play the field as well. He came on, played outfield during their Open Cup,
on. That's so true.
and scored a PK too.
Oh man.
So you have three guys
Um.
potentially.
Oh.
Tough one, man.
Yeah, I'll stick. Ah, dang it. I'll stick with 1-0. Dang it. All right, then we switch over to Saturday when we start that slate of action for League One. This is a 6 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. City Stadium, Henny Derby. Need
Love
I say more?
Nope. Love the Henny Derby.
Yeah, this will be on ESPN Plus and WTVR in Richmond. So either way, if you are not in City Stadium, you should be watching on ESPN Plus. If you're not watching on ESPN Plus, watch on WTVR.
Yep.
Either way, you should be watching this match. Um, these are two OGs of USL League One. This is going to be their 17th meeting in league history.
Yep.
Madison has 8 wins, Richmond has 6 wins, and there have been 2 draws. In Richmond, there have been 8 matches, and Richmond has 4 wins. Madison has 4 wins. There has never been a single draw in the Henny Derby in City Stadium. This is so good. I love it. Okay. I love it.
I mean, yeah, it's the Henny Derby. What more can you say? The best derby in the league. Um,
Yeah.
Both sides coming into this one with only one loss. Richmond played 3 matches and have 2 wins out of those 3. Madison's only played one other match so far. So, I don't think that's going to play too much into this one. I think the excitement. I think both sides of this one know what's on the line here, um, and I really like what I saw with this Richmond Kickers team. on this last one. I really think that they have kind of figured something out, and maybe something's finally starting to click with them. Um, and I think it's going to be a really sneaky good match. If I wasn't watching just for the best derby in the league, I would be watching because this match is going to be fireworks.
True. And Alex coming in here with a great stat for us. First match in 4 years without Stephen Payne on either roster. That is a fun one right there. I do really like watching Stephen Payne play.
Oh yeah, solid
Yeah,
contributor wherever he goes.
yeah. Yeah, he was a lot of fun, especially on that Richmond roster. Yeah. So okay, so let me ask you this. Because both teams had a recent loss, but they bounced back big.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at Madison in week 2, they lost to Naples 2-0 on the road, but then they hosted Duluth FC from MPSL and they had that big win at home, 5-1. Now, if you counter that and look at Richmond in the Open Cup, they lost to Virginia Dream 3-1 away. And then they came back home and beat AVL to 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
So, who has more confidence heading into this match?
Oh, I think you got to say Richmond in this one. You come back and you beat AB Alta, and especially just the way they did it. We talked about it earlier. It's a tough one to. Um, it's a tough one when you give away a goal so early in the match, but you didn't see any real real drop in them for the rest of the match. So for me, I really have to say Richmond has the edge in this one, and it's a
Yeah,
little
that
different.
5-1 victory. Sorry, go ahead.
It's just a little bit different when you beat a league opponent 3-1 than beating a team in a lesser division than you 5-1. Although 5-1 is a very commanding victory, it's one of those victories that you kind of expect to happen. But that
Yeah.
being said, you also got to look at Richmond losing to Virginia Dream 3-1. So it's tough, but I think Richmond's probably still riding the high of that AV Alta victory.
Yeah, that was a good point from you, saying that it was a league opponent rather than an Open Cup opponent. That 5-1 victory from Madison over Duluth FC matches their biggest all-time victory. Um, but yeah, I think you're right. Beating a league opponent. Yeah. I was worried about Ford Madison, especially coming after that match against FC Naples. Concerned about their offense. I truly believe that they were going to beat FC Naples in that match.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing that they not only lost against FC Naples, but were shut out, had me concerned about their offense. But then they reassured me that they're still gelling, they're still clicking by beating Duluth FC 5-1. So man, trying to predict this one is a tough one.
Yeah. I yeah, as tough as it is, I really do think that this is going to be the highlight match of the weekend. But that being said, right now it's really hard to bet against this Richmond Kickers team at home. I got to give the edge to the Kickers in this one, and I think it'll be close for sure. I think it's going to be a late goal that sends them over, but I do like Richmond to win this one 2-1.
Okay, cool. I'm so glad you didn't take my score. I'm going to once again predict a 1-0 victory, and I'm going to go with Richmond 1-0 in this one. I agree with you. Um, I know that Ford Madison is used to playing in front of big crowds, big rowdy crowds,
Mm-hmm.
especially on these occasions.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Richmond has the momentum heading into this one. I think it's going to be close as well. But I have a lot of faith in Richmond's defense in this one. They seem to be gelling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, I'm saying that after they lost to Virginia Dream, but they came back and proved themselves against AV Alta. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, I'm saying 1-0 for Richmond.
I like it.
You're welcome, Alex. All right, next we have another 7 p.m. kickoff. This one's purely on ESPN Plus, no local broadcasting going on there. This one is FC Naples versus Portland Hearts of Pine. This is the first expansion on expansion match of the season.
Love it.
This is where it gets exciting too.
I love it. I think this is going to be one. It's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams are going to play against each other. I think there'll be some scouting that it was done, um, but really getting into it, it's a different animal inside the league playing against another expansion side that you don't have a whole lot of film on for both sides here. So, um, I think this match is probably going to be pretty fast paced. Um, and I think moving into Shadow Wolf's question here, asking, will FC Naples continue their run, or what do Hearts of Pine need to do to beat them? I think both of these teams are going to look to kind of set their own speed to this match, set their own precedent on what they want to do, and I think if Portland is going to come out and beat FC Naples, they're going to have to come out and play very, very strong and very, very smart um, through the center of the pitch. They're going to have to be able to get their midfielders in and move the ball up front, um, and be able to pick out the guys making the runs on the backside. Um, that being said, uh, FC Naples really just needs to come in and continue to play the way that they have been playing. There's not really, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is one of those where it's really hard to predict what either team is going to do against the other in particular. But um, yeah, I think there's in this kind of match you're going to have to settle in a little bit more on your defense as well. I think it's going to come down to what team is more sound defensively. But usually when you say defensively, you think of the back three or four, whichever they're going to decide to play on this day. But for me, I really this midfield battle for me is going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I agree with you. Um, Naples is looking to continue their run. As we saw, I think I saw on the league website, um, they're looking to become the third League One club to kick off its debut season in a league with an unbeaten streak of 5 or more matches across all competitions. And those other two teams were Union Omaha and North Texas. But I'm going to be posting this on social media tomorrow, so you guys get a heads up of what we're going to be seeing for a poll question on social media. Is there any expansion side that you see setting a record for a expansion side debut season going undefeated in their expansion season? The current record stands at 8 matches, which I believe was set by Union Omaha back in 2020. So I'll be posting that on, we will be posting that on social media tomorrow. And you guys feel free to chime in on that one and talk about that one. But this one, Naples looking to continue their streak toward that ultimate goal. Now, we've seen Naples play more than we've seen Portland. The only indication of style and formations and all that kind of stuff from Portland is from their Open Cup match. And thank goodness I had the whiskey because I can blame my mispronunciation on this one. When they hosted CD Fiolense and they defeated them 4-0 at home. Whereas Naples, we've seen them play multiple regular season matches as well as Open Cup. So we have a better idea of what to expect from Naples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel more confident in Naples.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the safer pick in this one is FC Naples. However, that's not the way I'm going to go. I have a little suspicion here. I think Portland's going to come out, and I think they're going to kind of go all out to try to get this victory. Uh, so I actually like Portland in this one, 1-0.
Wow. Okay.
Got to take chances,
Okay.
man.
So this would be Portland's first regular season match and first. Okay, so they start off the season with a win. Naples, this would be their first home loss. Um, wow. Okay. All right. I am going to say Naples. I'm going to say Naples 3-1. I have confidence in Naples there,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Hey, I mean, listen, everybody said I was crazy last season picking Spokane to make it to the final, and that's what happened. So, sometimes you just got to go with that gut instinct.
Yeah, I still have no idea how you did that.
A little bit of luck, a little bit of luck, a little bit of watching the eye test, man. I tell you what, keep
No
singing its
kidding, man.
praises.
Chris coming in here saying, "What you smoking?"
Nothing.
He's drinking that water to clear his system so it doesn't show up in the test.
No, I'm drinking this water actually because I think my son had the flu, and I think it's started to migrate its way over, and I'm trying to stave off that because I'm still trying to, not even trying to, I am planning on going to Des Moines on Wednesday. So, um, if this can stay away till at least Thursday of next week, that would be terrific.
That would be your first ever Union Omaha away match, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Come
Yes,
on, let's go.
yes, it would. I'm leaving work at noon and picking my dad up, and me and him are gonna go out there. So
Your dad's coming too?
yeah, my dad will be out there. Yep.
Oh man. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be awesome. Okay. Um, so I am still undecided about whether or not I'm going to be going to Des Moines. I'm waiting for um, a decision to be made uh, at work. So we will see if I'll be there or if I will be at an event here in Omaha. But um, yeah, I'm really excited for that Open Cup match.
Yeah, it'll
That's
be a
going to be
good
good.
one.
All right. Another League One match Saturday, also a 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. This is an ESPN Plus coverage as well as KHQ SWK local coverage there in Spokane.
Solid.
This is Greenville hosting Spokane.
It's a good one. Spokane kind of reeling a little bit, and I wasn't. I also was not too impressed with Greenville's Open Cup match that they played either. So this is kind of a battle of two teams that, at this point of the season, you wouldn't think that they would be in the positions that they're in right now. I mean, as far as the table goes, obviously, points in the table at this early juncture of the season is a little bit misleading and everything like that. But I still think these are two really well-rounded teams, and I think they're two teams that styles kind of immovable object and unstoppable force kind of idea in this one. It's gonna be tough for both of these teams to really get anything going against the other team. I think Greenville is obviously going to be stout defensively. We have seen that their offense does and can and does come to life. And on the flip side, I think Spokane, we already know about their offensive firepower. It's been no secret this season or last season what they can do. Um, I'm a little bit more worried about their defense in this one, even though it's not a super strong Greenville Triumph offensive attack, but it's definitely one that can score goals. Um, so it's really tough for me to predict this one and not have it be a draw, because obviously I would. And this one, I think this is my. If I could pick draws, this would be the one I would. Um, but yeah, super tough, and I think the edge does kind of go to Greenville in this one, in my opinion. But then again, I'm going back and forth, and even reading this earlier, I was going back and forth in my own head, and I still don't think I have a great decision lined up for it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This, if since we are only doing um since we're only doing wins, we're not doing draws, makes this so incredibly difficult. Because I would love to give this one a draw. These are two very good teams.
Yep.
Um, oh man, the thing for me, the decider for me is going to be how Greenville presses. Spokane can absorb the pressure. They didn't show a whole lot of offensive prowess like on the other end of the pitch, but Greenville, I mean, we've seen them, um, Leo Castro, Evan Lee. I mean, you have to throw Ben Zakowski in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Spokane and their stacked roster haven't looked 100% strong out the gate. Still looking to shake like those insults of the Lexington 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I think I know my pick. Do you know yours?
You go ahead and throw yours out.
Okay. I am once again going with a 1-0 victory. So I'm keeping it close. But I'm giving it to Greenville.
Yeah, it's hard to argue it. I think this is going to be like we both said, this. If we could pick a draw on this one, we would. Me personally, going back and forth. You like Greenville in this one. I like to be a little bit of a gambler, so I'll take Spokane 1-0. I think Spokane can come in and get it done. It'll be tough, but it definitely can be done. And Lil Kuzi, no, I did not forget about the 3-0 Greenville Triumph victory over Union Omaha a couple of weeks ago. I am well aware, and it is definitely going to come into the the next uh, the next match that we're going to talk about.
Okay, and I had to look it up because I wanted to make sure that we were looking at this one correctly because that Make a Wish match featuring the 7-year-old forward Camden that Greenville Triumph signed to a 1-match contract. He is going to be playing in the. He is playing. He's playing this Saturday. No way.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. I got to change my score prediction. Okay. I'm giving Greenville the 2-1 victory. And I think that Camden is going to be the difference.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that too. Yeah, I think that's gonna have to change my score as well. So Greenville's definitely gonna get a goal. Uh, Kid looks good. Kid is definitely a goal scorer. He's going to be hungry, so he's definitely getting at least one in this one. Um, but I still like Spokane in this one. I think Spokane still gets it done, but I think it's 2-1.
All right. So Greenville has never lost to Spokane. They have 2 wins, 1 draw, and the only time that Spokane has ever gone to Greenville was a 3-0 victory for Greenville. So this would also be a little bit of, history in the making for Spokane.
Mm-hmm. I
We
mean,
got to catch up on the live messages because some of them are directed at you, and I'm loving it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, CJ asking what I was smoking. Zach saying he swung by my place before the stream. Uh, I did not. Um, and you would definitely know if I did because I would be very, very ill right now. That's just me personally. Um, CJ also saying it's National Whiskey Day. Have we covered that yet? No, we have not.
It is.
Apparently, today is National Whiskey Day. And if that is true, then I have something that I definitely can do real quick.
Oh, it was on Monday,
It was on
but
Monday.
yeah,
Good enough for me.
yeah.
Good enough for me.
I had
So
I Hey, I was
Rich has
drinking
got
whiskey.
his, so I've got to do mine. I do still have the Whistler Irish Honey right here on my desk. So because it was National Whiskey Day, uh, we'll go ahead and take a pull from it.
Good man. See, that'll kill any viruses that you have in your system. It's science, people.
Yeah, it definitely kind of felt like it was going to there for a second. Good now though. Just complete honey finish. There's nothing better than that.
Good. All right, now a big match that we should be talking about too. Saturday, also a 7 p.m. kickoff, also on ESPN Plus,
Yeah, get it together,
also
League
on the
One.
East
Come on.
Coast.
Stop putting them at
Huh?
the same time. We talk about this every single time. Stop putting all these matches at the same time.
I know, right?
You know how hard it makes it for us to do this show when we have to watch all of these and they just happen to all happen at the same time.
Yep.
I have an entire day. Please spread them out a little better.
We have a battle of the burbs. So we have Tormenta hosting Union Omaha. Now we all know the statistic that's always going to get mentioned whenever these two teams match up. Ryan, let me hear it.
Tormenta has never beaten Union Omaha.
There you go. That's it. That's the one. But Tormenta has shown plenty of life in their first few matches. On the other hand, there have been some doubts casted toward Union Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any validity to that heading into this match?
Um, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Omaha. I guess you guys are gonna get my Homer take on it because that's my favorite team. So sorry, but yeah, Omaha does not look great. They there's definitely some quality that is missing from this season that we've been used to in season pass as Union Omaha fans, and it's a little bit shocking because it's not something that Omaha fans are used to seeing, and I mean, it got a little bit better with their Open Cup match, but there was still a lot of misplayed balls, a lot of real sloppy play, and against a team that maybe that's not going to kill you. Um, this Tormenta team this season so far, plays like that are going to kill you. Um, in week one, was it week one that Tunbridge was our player of the week? I
Sure
mean,
was.
and the way that he played was poaching bad plays from players not being completely sound. And that has been Union Omaha's issue thus far in the season. Um, And unfortunately, I don't think Omaha has had the time to get this completely figured out. And I think Tormenta is going to be riding a high of playing well these past few weeks. And that kind of answers a little bit of what Shadow Wolf's first question was, but second question is Tormenta the bigger one so far out of the two? Yeah, I would absolutely say Tormenta is the bigger of these two this so far this season. They look like
Yeah.
the more composed, well-rounded team right now.
Yeah. So we had Mason Tunbridge as our week one player of the week. But when we were looking at, I think it was this past week when we chose Emiliano Terzaghi, we were also looking at Yaniv Bazzini
Yep.
From Tormenta because he had that brace against AV Alta. Yeah, AV Alta. Um, so it's not just one player from Tormenta that's a threat. This is, they also have other potent goal scorers on their squad. And with the high press that Tormenta has, with as many players as they have committed to that high press, this is a disciplined team from Ian Cameron. Union Omaha needs to react to that. They need to find space. They need to mix well together, and they need to keep their formation as they move up the pitch. Got to stay disciplined. This one is nerve-wracking to think about because there's a streak on the line. Certainly want to see that one stay intact and everything, but I mean, fortunately for me, I don't have to pick for this one.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Listen, I think thus far, I mean, I downplayed a little bit of Union Omaha's some of the bright things that they can do. Um, they do have some players that can get the job done that were here last season as well. Um, but I just think really at this point in the season and with what I've seen from both of these teams, I think Tormenta gets their first victory against Union Omaha, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think a 2-0 Tormenta victory. And yes, I had to take a shot to say it. It did.
Okay. History in the making. Brian says Tormenta 2-0 over Omaha.
Based on how they look, it's tough to do.
Yep. Yep. All right. Last match of week 4. Saturday night, 8 p.m. This will be on ESPN Plus. You can also watch it in Westchester if you're watching on MSG2. This is another expansion on expansion matchup. But these are two teams with totally different trajectories. So, as much as there's a lot to talk about here, at the same time, there's not as much to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at these two teams, you look at Texoma, they're winless. They lost to 4-0 SC 2-1 in extra time at home in the US Open Cup. In their first match ever, can't always hold a first match against a team. Week 3 they lost to Knoxville 2-0 at home. Then you go ahead and look over at Westchester. They're undefeated. Week 1, they drew against a very good Greenville Triumph team, 1-1, and defeated FC Motown 1-0 on the road. FC Motown in the Open Cup, people that haven't been following it, you will hear FC Motown's name a year in and year out in the Open Cup. They are a team that can and have made waves before. So that two pretty convincing performances from Westchester. And it's tough because you've seen some pretty lifeless games from Texoma, which is unfortunate based on based on the players they have, you would think that they would have put up a better fight than they have thus far in the season.
Yeah, I even looking at the performances that we've seen from Texoma in their Open Cup match and their home loss to One Knox, it's genuinely surprising because if you look at their technical staff, if you look at the players that are on their roster, we listed them in the past. This is not a team that should be performing the way that they are.
Mm-mm.
And it's surprising. On the flip side, this is a Westchester team that was getting some hype in the preseason,
A
but
little bit.
not as much.
Yeah.
But then seeing them play against Greenville on the road against Greenville,
Yeah.
that was a physical match. They had to get down and dirty to draw that match. That was a fun one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see Westchester play with that grit, but then see Texoma just, I don't want to say lifeless because they're certainly not lifeless, but just not gelling well. It's just, it astounds me because I thought Texoma was going to be coming out of the gates much stronger than they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. Um, but I mean, this is kind of the point that we're at, and I can't, in good conscience, I can't pick Texoma to win in a matchup where they seem a little bit outclassed. There's some teams you can get away with doing that. There's some teams that, whether they're just in a bad run of form or you know the the players that they have on the pitch might not be quote unquote as talented as the other side. That you can still pick them and be fine because of the way they play. But there hasn't really been anything yet for Texoma that gives me that kind of hope that they're going to be one of those teams that can do that thus far. Um,
Yeah.
and Westchester, I mean, they looked they haven't looked astounding, but they've looked good enough to win some matches. And I think in this one, Westchester does get a victory here. Um, and unfortunately for Texoma, I don't think this one's going to be close either. I think Westchester takes this one 2-0.
I think that's a good solid pick. And I hate to say it, my prediction is gonna be even stronger than that. I'm gonna say Westchester 3-0.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. I until I see something from Texoma that shows that they have a little bit of life in them, it's going to be hard for me to pick them week in or week out. And just to make it known that I'm not just picking on Texoma, I feel the same exact way about Union Omaha. If they don't come out and play well against Tormenta this weekend, I'm not picking Union Omaha until they can show it. So unfortunately, there are
Yeah,
just some teams at this point in the season because, of course, I've said it once before, I'll say it again. That's so early in the season. It's really hard to tell where these teams' trajectories are going to be at the end of the season. But right now, the trajectories on these two are complete polar opposites.
yeah, yep, I agree. All right, so those are our predictions for week 4. We will be putting our polls up as usual on social media, so make sure that you vote on those, but then also submit your score lines. So if you think you got the exacto in the book, or like you got it, just go ahead and throw it in there. Hopefully you do. We had the Open Cup second round matches all listed here, but we are already running over our normal time. So there's 3 matches involving League One clubs on April 1st. There's 8 involving League One matches, League One clubs on the 2nd, one of which has Greenville One Knox playing each other again, a rematch from the 2024 Open Cup, which I believe Greenville won 3-2. Yeah, Greenville won 3-2 in extra time on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But plenty of good matches especially the Chattanooga Derby,
Yeah,
as well as
huge
Union
one.
Omaha Des Moines Menace.
Yep.
That's going to be a good one.
I mean, I hope so. I don't have super high hopes, but it'll be cool to be in Des Moines, I suppose.
Uh, Tormenta Foro, that one has some good action in store for it too.
One
We have
I'm
several teams.
one I'm looking at is Westchester, and I had trouble saying this when I was watching their match too. And the New York Pansaprian Freedoms. I
Yeah,
want to say it. I think that's how you say it.
because yeah, they had the upset in the previous round, right?
They did, and it was a great match too. So that's one I'm kind of really looking forward to as well. Um, One that I know you guys are saying that I Portland Hearts of Pine, maybe a little bit of a sketchy pick from me earlier. They're playing Hartford Athletic on April 2nd. Sneaky good one. And
Yeah,
again, if we're doing USL one against the world, everybody better be wearing their Portland Hearts of Pine kits that I've seen multiple people buy because they are awesome. Better be wearing those for the match against the Hartford Athletic as well,
yeah,
because of course it is League One versus the world in the Open Cup.
yep. Big hype for AB Alta taking on LAFC two. Um,
Yes,
and then Ford Madison hosting Championship Club FC Tulsa as well. FC Tulsa, man, that's gonna be a tough one.
yeah. Potential preview of Jägermeister Cup action as well.
Yeah, yep,
The group of death, if you will.
yeah. So there are some good matches in the next round of the Open Cup. Before we go, let me check and see if there's any more questions on social media. If you do have any other questions that you want to throw into the live chat, feel free to throw those in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to check our social media. And it looks like we are all good on social media. So if you don't have anything in the live chat, we'll give you another minute to make sure that all works well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That being said, should be a good few matches. Definitely looking forward to it. It's always great to have League One back, and then the fact that the Open Cup comes again a few days later just makes it that great part of the season where all of these things are happening all at once. Um, Now let's start throwing the Jägermeister Cup in here too, and we've got ourselves a party.
yeah,
Hopefully, all these USL League One teams make it through, and we see a very interesting draw for third round of U.S. Open Cup action.
yep. So for sure, when it comes to the Open Cup, we know for sure one League One team will lose, but at the same time, we also know that one USL League One team is guaranteed to make it to the next round because of that Greenville One Knox match.
Yeah, yeah. Which, come on, let's. Are we really doing this the second year in a row? I think if it goes 3 years in a row, then I think we've got an issue.
Yeah, yeah,
It'd be a great match, though. I'll say that.
yep, it will. All right, looks like live chat is free to go. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you very much to everybody out there tuning in to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich, but I'm not. And that is Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace.